They say daughters soften their fathers' hearts, but this little girl had buried a pair of scissors in her daddy's chest. What in heaven's name could turn a 9-year-old pageant queen into a serial killer? The child moved her tongue in and out of her mouth as she made red slashes across the paper. I leaned closer to the glass to get a better look at the drawing. As if she sensed me watching, she stood and pressed the drawing to the observation window. Well, that's gruesome. I couldn't tear my eyes from the image of a man with large gashes across his torso. The subject matter came as little surprise, but the quality of the drawing shocked me. The group home manager tells me she spends most of her free time drawing. Haley, my best friend and the girl's lead therapist, tapped her pen on the desk. She's obviously advanced. Most kids don't have that level of realism in their drawings until their early teens. I turned to Haley. She's small for her age. Any underlying medical issues? None noted, but the information came from a next-door neighbor. We're still waiting on her school records. I turned my back to the glass. She's nonverbal? As far as we know, she hasn't said a word since confessing to the police. Haley ran a hand over her swollen belly and turned to the intern. Go encourage her to draw another picture. The young man, who didn't look old enough to have graduated high school, let alone a 4-year university, hurried from the room. I couldn't help but wonder if his eagerness had more to do with working with the patient or escaping before Haley went into labor. With 4 weeks until her due date, she already looked like she'd pop if she bumped into a sharp object. Will you do it? She turned to me with a hand on her back. I glanced at the little girl. Do you think she did it? Does it matter? Haley dipped her chin and pushed her lower lip out. She needs someone to stand up for her either way. I'd met Haley during our freshman year of college and had bonded over ice cream and late-night study sessions. I thought I'd developed an immunity to her pouty puppy face. I was wrong. Haley, you know I don't treat kids. She's the only one on my caseload I haven't been able to transfer. I wouldn't ask, but I'm desperate. Her free hand moved to her lower back. Maybe it's my hormones, but I care more than I should about this one. Her candor surprised me. Haley's caseload consisted of mostly children. What was it about this one that had drawn her in? I have my hands full between the police department and the guys. There's 6 other therapists here. Why can't one of them see her? The mention of Orange County PD reminded me of the stack of paperwork waiting at the station. Officially, I worked part-time as a victim's advocate. Unofficially, I provided special services, aka psychic readings, on an as-needed basis. Lately, they'd needed me enough to provide a benefits package. They've all seen her, but... Haley hung her head. She freaks them out. My mouth fell open. That's unprofessional to say the least. Normally, I'd agree. She frowned and turned back to the glass. What aren't you telling me? I grabbed the girl's chart and flipped through the pages. Jolene Parks, only child. No known psychological trauma until her stepfather murdered her mother in the next room, and she allegedly took justice into her own hands. As you said, she's quite the artist. I nodded, waiting for her to get on with the explanation. 3 of my colleagues claim she drew pictures of their dead family members. Jolene wrote a letter from one of the therapist's recently deceased husband. She's caused quite a stir in the office. I narrowed my eyes. Haley, a self-proclaimed agnostic, worshipped at the altar of scientific research. She'd dismissed my gifts as intuition, although, since a couple of the murder investigations I'd worked hit national news, she'd shown more interest. She's a medium? Haley shrugged. At the very least, she's very intuitive. Well, crap. How am I supposed to walk away from the case now?